Hello, this
Hi,
is
Sonia.
Sonia Lakani, if in case you don't remember or know who I am by now. And today I have Deborah Mortimer with me. I am so excited to capture Deborah's story. She is an alum, excuse me, of the 2 Weeks of Trademarks Empire program. And she has taken it and just absolutely run with it, has created all kinds of success. And I just really want to capture her story. So thank you, Deborah, for being with
Thank
me today.
you. So
Thank you
excited to
so
be
much.
here.
Yes, thank you. So, this is super informal, just a casual chat, but do you want to maybe start off by just telling folks who you are, what you do, just kind of a little bit of background?
Okay, so I'm Deborah Mortimer. I have been an attorney for, I think 16 years now. And I started off as a litigator, was a litigator for quite some time. And then I kind of like segued into legal writing and editing, working for places like Nolo, and always doing litigation though, always. It's been the bane of my existence. And then I started becoming a children's book writer and started a publishing company. And a lot of my doing some self-publishing coaching, and a lot of my clients were looking for someone to handle copyright and trademark. And I was always referring it out to other attorneys. And then, but it was enough that made me think to myself, why am I doing this? They're coming to me knowing that I'm an attorney and I have their best interest at heart as creatives. So was worth it to me to figure out how to do trademarks and copyrights, because I took those classes in law school, but it wasn't something that I had ever thought that I could really just center my whole practice around. I was looking and looking and looking, and I was asking attorneys if I could like shadow them and stuff like that. And people were kind of hesitant because I guess they saw me as competition. But I actually went on a women's like vacation, and this attorney who doesn't even do trademarks, she said, "Oh, then you need to contact Sonia Lakani." And I'm like, "Who's this?" And she sent me the link to your course. And I was just like, it felt like it was like a godsend, like it was, seriously, because I had been looking and looking for something like a CLE class or something that was like really comprehensive, that was going to teach me the whole ins and outs of trademark and copyright. Because like I said, I took it in law school, but that was a long time ago. That was more like theory. And here you were with this like step by step that was going to break it all down for me. And I thought that this was just the sign that I needed to do this. And it was just perfect. And then I had to talk myself into actually investing.
That's scary.
It
Yeah.
was scary. Then I saw the price tag, and I was like, oh God, can I do this? Is this going to be worth it? But then, I had some really great friends that were like, look, after like 2 or 3 clients, it's going to pay for itself. And I took some time. I think I asked you, I must probably messaged you or emailed you a bunch of questions until finally I just said, I joined your group on Facebook. I read all the different reviews. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to take the plunge and just do it. And it was the best thing that I ever did. Really, really and truly.
I'm
It has
so glad. Oh, I have
definitely paid for
goosebumps.
itself.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, and it is scary to take on any kind of investment. And it's for some reason scary to invest in yourself because
Yeah.
there's not this like take course, like make money that day or the next day, right? Like it is a process. What do
Mhm.
you feel like were some of the thoughts that you had at that time where you were like really hesitant to make the investment because you weren't sure about it paying off for you?
Well, because I was afraid that I was going to completely take the plunge out of litigation or anything else that I was doing. And I was going to start this firm, put in all this time, because I mean, it's an investment of time and money, not just with the course, but just to even just develop the firm, the protocol. You have to, all these different vendors and stuff like that. They're not cheap. And I felt like I was going to do all of this and then no clients. Nothing was going to come about it. And then I would have spent all this money. I have all these expenses every single month and nothing is going to happen. And that was a real fear. That was a real fear. But I decided that I was not going to let that fear take me over, and I was going to push forward and really invest in the program itself too, because Yeah, I can listen to the tapes. I mean, I can watch them and I can read your material, but if you don't go a little bit further than that and kind of do your own research and invest in yourself and your learning, then it's not really going to pay off for you. But I did it. I think I did the work, and it's definitely been, yeah, it's definitely been paying off.
I'm so glad. Oh, I can't wait to get into that because I know Deborah's story just from knowing her, but I cannot wait to capture it for this recording. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of like you made the distinction between kind of like learning the material versus the business side of it. Obviously, you know, the getting clients part, and that is something that I think a lot of attorneys that are dabbling or new to trademarks feel is like, okay, it's all fun and games until I can't get any clients. So what was your thought process like around kind of just getting a hold of that and saying, okay, I don't have any clients right now, but I will be able to get them, and how am I going to get there?
Well, I think what helped me get over that is that the first few clients that I got were friends. They were, you know, they had wanted to trademark for a while, but were willing to wait it out until I had finished the course and had gone through it and put in the time to build up the firm. And then they said, once I was done and I was ready and open for business, they said, fine, I'll do it. And it was great. And it felt comfortable because to take on their case, having never filed an actual application with the USPTO, had, you know, I felt free to make mistakes, not vital, you know, vital ones to their application, but at least if I, you know, if I something was wrong or maybe tweak my whole procedure and stuff like that, because I use Trello for project management, and I was able to fine tune it the step by step with them. So that was helpful. And then after that, a couple of them were they referred me out. I got referrals from them, so that was helpful. And then I learned about different leads that I can use. So it's been slow, but it's been progressing and going to different conventions and conferences and meeting and networking with different people. Getting your name out there definitely helps, and getting reviews, positive reviews, to get to build up that reputation. So that's definitely helpful.
So you feel like you kind of started building a momentum, like you do the one and it's
Yeah.
not so scary, and then you do another one and it went okay
Yeah.
too. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
but
kind of helps.
also the great thing about your course is that it's not just learning about trademarks. You also give a lot of practicals to building the firm, because like through you is I learned about alt legal, I learned about law pay, and I learned about, you know, Markify and stuff like that. So you also give that aid in all of the different structures, because you give an example of how you structure your firm and how it flows from the beginning to the end. So that's helpful, and it was helpful for me in building that. It's not like you just said, okay, this is how you do trademarks, and you just kind of like threw us to the wolves. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's, you know, that was a big part of deliberate design of the program. And when I wrote the material was, you know, no one cares about just it in a vacuum. You could be a USPTO, you know, 40-year expert, right? But if you don't have any knowledge around running a firm, and I've only worked at small firms. Famously, I've never worked at a big law firm,
Yeah.
which it's
Same here.
funny how the thing that you think is a disadvantage is actually ends up well, it depends what you end up doing, but it ended up being an advantage for me because all I know is the back end, right? All I
Yeah.
know is the business side, and to be able to teach that, having done it, you know, for this long. I mean, I've now operated my own firm for longer than I haven't, right?
Mhm.
So of the 12 and a half years. So being able to showcase that knowledge and saying, you know, I may never have worked at a big law firm, but that's actually a plus for you guys because that's like all I know is the managerial side of really like everything from printing things to stamps to the processing payments, like all of that stuff, and mastering it is really,
Right.
you know, the important side. And that was actually a big reason why I kind of created like a division between, you know, what is now known as Boss of Myself versus Boss of an Empire. So
Yeah.
you touched on, you know, looking at the course, obviously looking at the price tag, and you have, you know, everybody has a choice between those two versions. What was it that made you choose Boss of an Empire, that version of it?
Well, because I wasn't learning to go and work for an IP firm. I was learning it so that I can do it myself and be an entrepreneur. And I figured if I'm going to make the investments, might as well just go all the way and learn how to rainmake and conquer the consultation and do all of that. Why not learn how to just get the clients instead of just learning how to do the work?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, it's nice that you get kind of like that extra sort of mentoring and hand holding on the back end too with our
Yeah.
calls and our time together. Absolutely. Is there any part of you on this end, and I can't wait to get into some of the results you've achieved, but is there any part of you where you sit that makes you wish you had maybe gone for the lower tier? Are you happy with your
No,
decision to, okay.
no, I'm very
You
happy
hear
with
that, guys? See?
Oh no, I'm very happy with my decision because it's all because with the rainmaking, you focus a lot on mindset and how to think positively and think like think like a boss that you're and how and, put it out there because your clients will pick up on it and will pick up on your energy. If you act like you know what you're talking about and you're very strong with that, then I think the clients feel that energy and feel comfortable working with you. So no, not at all. And then, I love the fact that it's not just that you're going through the course and then when it's done, it's done. I can go back anytime that I want and review anything and then look, you're doing it over again. And I have the privilege of being able to now sit through these live and learn the additional things that you've learned over the years since you've done it the first time. So I think it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm happy to hear that. You talked about one of the things sort of takeaway was a lot of mindset work, right? Being that we did so much focus on like the marketing and the business side and the systemizing, what were some of the kind of other like takeaways, aha moments, business like lessons you learned, or just things that you were like, I would have never known that had I not been through this program, like the things that really you feel like set you up for success?
The Conquer the Consultation definitely set me up for success because I had to go back to it because at one point I was doing my consultations and I felt like I just wasn't closing the deal. And I was like, what in the world? And then I went back and I listened to it all over again. And I had such a aha moment. And I was like, that's what I'm not doing. I'm not following through at the end. I'm not making sure that that they've gotten something that tells them, okay, well, now I can sign the engagement letter and I can pay this and I can start. I just wasn't closing the deal. And I was like, okay, yes, all right. So anytime I feel like I've forgotten something, I go back and I listen to it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have
I
to say
love
about
that. I
that.
love that. So speaking of closing more consults, let's get to the fun part. So tell me how things have gone for you recently. I understand you had a very successful last month,
I
but
did.
walk me through kind of how we got there and tell me everything. I want to hear the whole story.
Well, I think I had some like sprinkling magic dust or something on me last. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it was my first month where I hit 5 figures for the month, and I was very excited, very very excited about that. I just was closing, and I got some pretty. It wasn't just like entrepreneurs, some pretty like I got like nonprofits, and I got some finance corporations, and I got some really higher level clients that I had been like wanting and I don't know. I conquered the consultations, I guess.
I love it. That's
That's what I
exactly what
did.
it's music to my ears. That's all I want you to be able to do is conquer the consultation
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just kill the process, kill it. I
Yeah.
love that. What, in addition to really understanding how to give a consult and the framework behind that, what do you attribute your impressive success to? Any other factors, anything that, because obviously, a program can take you there, but
Yeah.
a lot of it has to come from you. So do you feel like it was a combination of things or just kind of giving you the groundwork to start, or what do you attribute your
I
success
think
to?
it was a combination of things, but I think you operate a lot very similarly to the way that I operate. I like to be very forthright with everything and very transparent. And that's what I love about your program too, because like I said, you operate very similarly to the way I operate. And you've said it many times that you like to be very transparent. Um, uh, and I do that. I kind of walk through the entire process with them, explaining everything, transparent about the cost, but also making them feel like they're getting a lot of value for what they're paying. It's not that I'm just going to take your money and then you're getting the bare minimum. No, this is what you're getting. You're getting that comprehensive search. You're getting my opinion. You're getting emails. I'm accessible. Within boundaries. You
Right.
have I'm still
accessible, but like with an
I'm,
asterisk.
I'm still learning boundaries because I
Yeah.
think that because I definitely want to help. So I have to still learn the boundaries of not help, that my time is still my time. But yeah, I think and I think that they appreciate that. They appreciate the fact that I am knowledgeable and that they feel like they're getting a lot for the value of what they're paying. And you stress that in your course. So I think that definitely works well with my personality and comes across.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also, like, it's so many pieces that meet together for success, right? Like, you have to believe mindset that what you have to offer is valuable, and then you have to
Yeah.
convey that value in a way that someone can easily receive, which is conquering the framework for a consultation. And then so there's a lot of, like, one piece leads to another. It's all interwoven, it isn't just a singular factor. So and so I know from your story that when you found this practice area, you made a commitment that this is what I want to do. What kind of stuff were you doing before practice area wise, and what made you sort of triple down into, nope, it's just going to be trademarks. That's all I want to do.
Well, I was doing litigation. Like I said, I started out doing divorce actually, and that ended that ended after a couple of years. And I was doing like personal injury, medical malpractice, contracts and stuff like that. And I stopped for, I would say, maybe 2017. I had stopped doing litigation. I was doing a lot of legal writing and editing for different, but still kind of handling some litigation stuff on the side. But I always knew that I wanted to move away from going to court to doing something that tapped more into my creative side, which is the reason why I had started doing children's book writing and having the publishing company, what have you. But I wanted still to weave law in it somehow. And trademarks and copyrights, it's perfect. It goes very well with working as a creative and working with creatives. It's I am so angry that I didn't discover this, like at the very beginning of my career.
Right.
I would have done this, I would have done it from the very beginning. But I often tell people that when I was in law school, and I took IP classes in law school, but I distinctively remember hearing them say that you had to take the patent bar if you wanted to do anything in IP, which is why I never thought about it. But if I had known coming out of law school that there was this area that I could do, I could do trademarks without having an engineering degree, taking the patent bar, but I could do trademarks and be not tied to a specific jurisdiction and just be able to go wherever I want and take clients from wherever I want. Oh my gosh, that would have changed everything.
So much happier, so much sooner, right?
Everything. But I actually now, I've always loved law, but I love it now. Like I really,
Did I hear you say you finally love being a lawyer?
I liked being a lawyer. I've always liked being a lawyer because I liked going to court, whatever. But at this time in my life, I love it now. I don't mind doing it. I read trademark stuff just for fun.
I love
And
that.
yeah.
I love that. So you touched on the fact that your most recent month was the first 5-figure month that you've had.
Yeah.
You don't have to specify, but if you're comfortable, do you want to share the monthly revenue amount? What is that 5 figures?
It wasn't a lot. I mean, it was
it is a lot. Excuse you. That is my student you're talking about. Excuse you.
It was about 16,000 I made for the month.
I mean, that's pretty. I mean,
yeah, that was pretty good.
Making it happier, right, is the key. It wasn't a begrudging 16K. It was a happy.
It wasn't. But it makes me feel that and I got such really good reviews. I got a lot of really good reviews last month too. I think you had reshared one of them on my Instagram, and that made me feel even better that that I'm not just taking people's money and whatever, but I'm actually helping, and they feel like they the value that I say that I was going to offer, they feel like they actually got it. So yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing that, and like I don't get a lot of time to scroll on socials. I post or like, I'm good on DMs and stories and stuff, but I don't get a lot of time to like fun scroll necessarily. But man, when I saw, like, I am loud ass auntie front row clap like all day for you guys. And I was just like, yes. And I was like, I'm so proud because I know that feeling. I know that feeling, like exactly what you just said. And we're so like this, like, you never want to feel like you're just taking someone's money. Like you want to feel like you're doing a good job and delivering and over delivering. And then, you get a glowing review, and there's not a soul walking this earth that doesn't appreciate some nice words about them. But like when you're nervous, and all this background stuff is happening, and then you get that like gold star, that check mark, it's just like, oh God, there's no better feeling. It's such a great feeling. And so is it safe to say that very impressive 16K was all for trademark work? It wasn't a mix of anything. Oh my God. Oh, I could just die. I could just die.
No, that was all trademark. Yeah.
Girl.
But I'm very
front row, loud auntie clap. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're lucky I'm not at your house with balloons and like a clown. And I love it. I love it. So question for you. One thing that I do hear, I hear lots of stuff, but one thing I do hear is, okay, the word's getting out about trademarks and people are starting to hear about it. And, we've got this great community and everyone's starting to learn it or be able to know that there's accessibility to this option of practicing this area. What would you say to the question or the concern that folks might have about, like, is this area oversaturated? Are there too many trademark attorneys? Is there enough work, or more, put more simply, is there enough work to go around?
I actually have that as a fear because I was reading the statistics and they said that like few years ago, it was like average 450 to 500,000 trademarks that were being filed per year. And in 2021, almost 950,000 trademarks were
like
filed
double
that year, right? And they said that this year, this time in comparison to last year, is already up 24%. So it makes you kind of think like, is it saturated? But even as saturated as it is, and all of the trademark attorneys, you still have so many people that still want to go and do it on their own, that want to try to do it on their own, or still go to the other places, the document pushers that we're not
right.
Right? They go there. So I think that as long as people are still doing it on their own, or going
there
to
will
those
be a market.
there will be a market for us somewhere because they're going to need us to come and clean up the mess. So I do wonder about that. If there's so many of us that are entering into the market, then will there be enough work to go around? But with so many people filing, probably not. I do think though that the definition of what is distinct is probably going to have to shift a little bit with so many applications being filed on a daily basis. Then how distinctiveness is going to start to be a little diluted. They're going to have to change the definition of it, because how distinct can you possibly be with so many trademarks being filed every day?
It does become more challenging. And I know that from speaking with our clients and just business owners in general, is coming up with something catchy is hard enough. And then hoping that no one else had that same great idea on their own, like across the country. And I've experienced it trying to brand my own stuff, and other things, other ideas I've had. I'm like, dang, that's taken. But then I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm like, wow, no one has that, or what we know to be true, right? They don't have that or close to what I want to do with it. Amazing. So it's definitely a challenge. But I think the more we shift into, this culture of entrepreneurship in general for our country and for our society, that is just going to birth, and we're seeing it's going to birth trademarks. It's going to birth new businesses, and that is what's attributing to that increase in filings, is that there is so much work, right? You see these numbers, it's because people are seeing the value in this practice area, and it's blowing up more. I think people just don't know what we do, right? There's so much to that.
Well, it's also becoming more accessible, right? Because before it was just the big firms that were doing the IP, and that was economically prohibitive to the smaller mom and pop businesses. But now, because you're having all of these solopreneurs and small firms that are doing IP, now it's more accessible to the small business owners, and they're starting to learn about it because you have more and more people who are also putting it into the media that they filed a trademark. So people are like, what is that? A lot of my potential clients, first thing I ask them, what do you know about trademark? They're like, all I know is that I should have one. I should have a trademark.
Yeah.
And I have to give them like a little 2-minute 101 course on what trademark is, because they have no clue. All they know is that my friend or my cousin or someone told me that my business name is a great idea and that I should trademark, but I don't even know what that is. So with more and more people learning that they should protect, they should protect their brand. It's not just Disney and Marvel and all these other different companies that should protect their brand, but the little guy should protect their brand too. And I think that's why the uptick has happened, because more people are learning about what it is.
And anytime celebrities start doing stuff and we're talking about it, it trickles down. And so, I mean, there was a point where, estate planning and wills had their moment, right? Because you had the Prince estate and Whitney Houston dying without without her stuff and her affairs in order. And so, they had their moment where it was like, oh, thank you. Like, people are realizing how important it is, because you see these real life relatable examples. And so now that we're seeing that with pop culture celebrity marks as well, people filing for it, fighting over rights. You had the Kylie versus Kylie, Kylie Minogue versus Kylie Jenner, all the Kardashians and all their millions of trademarks, Kanye West, Taylor Swift battling over things. And even though there's more, we're starting to see some stuff with music and copyrights. Obviously that's not the same thing, but it opens the door to this discussion. And now therefore the awareness, right? So we're having our moment for sure, in the news, which is really nice.
For sure.
And it sounds like you're having your moment. You are happier, you are glowing, you are making good money, you're having your first 5-figure months. Would it be safe to say that 2 weeks to Trademarks had a role in that? And if so, what role would you say it had in these amazing results we're seeing? Well, this new Deborah.
Well, because I wouldn't have had this whole just nicely packaged course to teach me exactly how to take on this whole new area of law, this whole new endeavor of trademarks. I would have had to learn it in piecemeal and go out there and try to figure it out on my own, or have like I said, I was looking for another attorney that I could shadow, but everything was put together very neatly. And after, I could take the course as quickly, I could do it in 2 weeks, or I can, take my time through it, rewatch videos as much as I want to before, where I really feel like I've digested the material. And you're so thorough that you feel confident launching your own firm and taking on the clients after, and you also make yourself accessible to ask a question if you need to. And then the whole Trademark Attorneys is this whole community where you don't really feel like you're going out there on your own after you take the course and there's no support. And that, I've met so many great attorneys just in the group alone who have been more than willing over the course of the time that I've been doing this, I've been more than willing to offer guidance and say, oh no, you don't do that, you do this, what have you. And I mean, there's well-seasoned trademark attorneys in the group, and they still sometimes ask questions. So it's really helpful.
I'm so glad. Yeah. And that's a big part of what I believe is that, obviously with Empire, you have your calls, which, we have those and stuff, but you've seen it, right? If you DM me with a question, I'm not going to be like, well, you need to book a time on my calendar and pay me. It's like, you can answer a quick question. I can't always, within that moment or that hour, but I always will reply. And, I think that that's such an important part of building relationships with other people is it's not just nickel and diming and paying to play. I mean, there is a time and a place for that, but we're never too busy to answer a quick question, and I think also we have such a great community where I don't really see that being abused. It's not like people are doing that every single day where you're like, all right, we got to book a time now kind of thing. So I like it. I like being accessible. I think when you would truly enjoy it and it's not a money grab, it kind of shows, and it is something. I am very invested in your guys' education, and I hope that comes across. So yeah,
it definitely comes across. Definitely. And to what you were saying before about the market being saturated, in that group you don't feel that way, because if you think about it, these are all your competitors, right? But no one acts like that. Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone is very open and with offering advice and a helping hand, and you don't feel like you're in competition with everyone. So that's good.
I'm so glad. I love that. Last question, because I know your time is valuable. You've got you've got consults to conquer and more 5 to 6 figure months to create. Yes, you've got more rainmaking to do. Last question for you. If somebody is on the fence about the program in general, or they're trying to decide between the 2 tiers, what would you say to them?
I would say that it is definitely an investment to just go for it and go for the Empire course as well. It's a good, it rounds out the course really nicely. And after you've learned trademarks, now you can actually figure out, it takes you, well, what do I do with all of this information? Now that I've learned it, what do I do? And it really helps you if you're going to go take that leap to opening your own firm or adding that to your own firm and trying to figure out how you're going to get those clients. I think that it's a nice addition to the course to help you get there.
I'm so glad to hear that. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to share that we just didn't get to, or anything that you want to just throw out there to anybody listening, watching? Anything?
No, I think that's it. No, I think that's it.
Watch for her on the cover of Forbes, y'all, because we're coming for you.
Your lips to God's ears.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to put it out there. Mindset is not just a wee foo foo thing. It is what it is. Right. Yeah, it is what will give you the courage and the energy to wake up and do a consultation and conquer it and kill it and come with that confidence. And then when that translates, you get a client. And it's funny because unfortunately, you have to do the thing to get the confidence. We always think confidence starts, right? Isn't that funny how it starts?
I think potential clients pick up on that. If you don't feel so sure about yourself, then they're going to pick up, oh, wait a second. Then if she doesn't sound too sure of herself, so does she know what she's doing? Does she not know what she's doing? Right. And they're going to go somewhere else. If you don't come with it and with the confidence that you know what you're doing and that you're going to help them and that they need you to do this, then they're going to go somewhere else.
They will. They'll pick up on that energy. And we already, as a profession, lawyers have this sort of, like, I guess you could call it an advantage, but people already assume and associate us with command, confidence, that energy, that value. And so it's kind of ours to mess up, right? Like when people call you, they're assuming you're going to have your framework in order, then you have a process in place and you know your prices and you're confident of all of that. And so when you're like wishy-washy and flimsy, it's like yours to mess up. Like you had it, they're going to come in most usually assuming that, you're in command. So it's important.
Your course makes me feel, it makes me feel confident.
That's all I want. And may this last month be your worst month. That's what we'll leave. Yes. May it be, and it will. Watch. I joked before Deborah and I started the recording that we're gonna look back on this, in a year, and she's gonna laugh because it's like, oh, that's cute. 5 figures. I'm at this. You never know. You never know. But what it starts with, right, is that you have to decide that you're capable of it and decide that you deserve it.
Yeah.
It all starts with that. So
if we're lawyers, if it's a new area, we learn stuff. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah. Deborah, thank you so much again for just taking the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish you all the success, and I cannot wait to be front row seat to everything to come. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.